you
Nailed it.
Why am I so much taller than every person on the planet?
Alrighty! Hello everyone, this is my friend Tessa.
Me.
You know Tessa.
Excuse me.
Speaking of being ill,
Speaking of being mentally ill, let's talk about counselling.
we talk about our feelings a lot, and I've recently started going to therapy.
It took you a long time to get in there.
It took me a while to realise that I needed therapy because I thought I was so broken that talking would not help.
Aww.
I was like, there's no way that this can fix what is happening. I was like, it was so physical.
That's so sad.
In the summer when I had my full-on breakdown and I was like, these are physical. I need drugs, I need doctors. The idea of talking it out is just ludicrous. It's like, that's not going to fix everything. What also actually makes sense is that talking can get you out of a lot of stuff. So
I had the opposite experience with why it took me so long to get in, because I looked around at my friends and I'm like, whoa, they need therapy. And I was like, I'm fine. Like, sure, I have this, like, huge anxiety problem and I'm attracted to the same type of emotionally unavailable man over and over again, but it's fine. It's fine. I just felt like my issues aren't that bad. So I was listening to this radio show. The doctor advised someone who called in that was like, I find myself attracted to the same emotionally unavailable man over and over again. And I was like, I don't remember calling this radio show. He recommended a book called Women Who Love Too Much. The world's worst title. But an amazing book that I can't recommend enough. At the very end, it's like, you really want to, like, work through your stuff, you have to be in counseling to talk it out.
how long have you been in therapy?
4 months when I first did it, and it felt a lot better, and now I've been back in for 6 months.
I have had a number of therapy sessions with 3 different people. The first one was very quiet, and I like people who talk back. She was leaving space for me to talk, but I was like, no. The second one was in Nashville, so that was just kind of like a trying it out. You learn a lot from each one. The third I've been going to recently, like weekly. I'm liking it so far. It's good. It's good to shop around.
I think a lot of people give up on counseling because they go to one person and they're like, counseling's not right for me.
Yeah.
And the truth is just that counselor isn't right for them.
When people were like, well, what kind of person are you looking for? I was like, I just want Tessa. I want Tessa as my therapist. Because
Stop.
you do this thing where you're like, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, I know, I feel it.
Yeah, I learned that from my counselor. She would do this thing while I was listening where she would be like, go, Where I was at, like, that body language to me means, be quiet, you're boring.
Oh no!
That is her way of showing that she's listening.
Interesting. How did you find your therapist?
Both of my counselors I found through recommendations of a friend.
I found mine via research, Googling. There are websites online that you can type in, like, your symptoms, what you're looking to deal with, and find counsellors or therapists in your area. I am with a clinic called Moving Minds, which is the same building I filmed Coke TV in. So the first time I got there, I was like, oh gosh.
What is the worst stigma/myth surrounding therapy you found to be wrong?
That what they say doesn't help, and that it's all a stereotype. That is just how the brain works. You are affected by things in your childhood.
I don't need someone to tell me how to live my life. And in fact, it is unethical for a counselor to tell you to do or how to do anything. It's about, like, learning more about yourself and understanding, like, oh, no wonder I have this reaction.
Do you ever feel awkward during sessions? The first therapist I went to, yes, I did, because she left a lot of silence.
But I feel awkward at first because, of course, it's like, it's a weird situation. It's very strange to meet someone new and then be like, here's all my personal baggage.
Oh yeah, finding it hard understanding that this therapist wasn't my friend, because the people I pour into are usually, like, friends.
Yeah,
it's a space where you are paying, but it makes you feel more comfortable about offloading, because that's what they're there for, literally. How do you know if you need therapy? Everyone needs therapy.
Take away the word need from that. Try and enter into the mind frame of, do I want to better understand myself?
What kind of homework do you usually get from therapy? Well, recently I was told to make a timeline of my life. You write down the bad things on one half of the page and the good things on the other. And it was so funny. I always used to say, why am I depressed? I should not be depressed. There's so much good stuff in my life. I should be amazing. I dealt with loads of shit when I was younger. I shouldn't be depressed now. And then, like, before, like, 2014, like, around 2013, 2014, 2015, it's like so much stuff happened in the bad place. And then I was depressed. And I was like, that does make sense.
It was an exercise in self-compassion, thinking, like, why am I so messed up? And then it's like, oh, she sends me home with books. She's like, you should read this book. So
the other homework she gives me is to practice things, like to practice not checking. So I said that whenever I wake up, I say, how am I feeling? Am I feeling depressed? Oh gosh, no, I'm feeling depressed, and now I'm anxious as well, blah, blah, blah. She says, try practice not checking. because when you check, you usually find something.
How do you know if therapy is working?
I don't know. When you come home and there's so much that you want to say because you've learned so much about yourself.
You know, you really get into stuff. I don't immediately feel better always, but I do always immediately feel better in understanding myself. So even if I've had like a counseling session that involved a lot of crying, you know, usually the crying is because I'm like, I never noticed that. And there's peace in understanding yourself.
It's common for me to go into a therapy session and midway be like, this isn't helping. I feel spaced out. I feel depressed. Like, what is the point? None of this is working. Funnily enough, that's my mental illness talking. You come away from it, and it's just important to learn that you're not going to be fixed in one session. I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's the funniest thing that's happened in your therapy sessions?
No! Oh my gosh. I never noticed this enormous elephant in this room.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, you probably saw this from the beginning, didn't you? And she's like, I'm not here to make your epiphanies for you. Counselors are very observant, so often, you know, you walk into the room and you think you have all this stuff, like, well hidden. How do you tell your parents that you want to go to counseling? I assume the subtext is that they're not into counseling.
Ask them to book an appointment with the doctor. And sit in with the doctor and your parents and explain how you're feeling, and maybe they can try and explain it to your parents.
Schools usually have the option for counseling, and it's like,
yes.
Are they good? Are they not? I don't know, but certainly can't hurt to try. And in that case, I don't think you have to tell your parents. Otherwise, I'd go in with the kind of like, oh, my friend started counseling. So what do you think about that, Mom and Dad? Or I had this dream I was in counseling. I want to try this, not I need this, because understandably, parents feel like counseling is a failing on their part. So it's, you know, you need to seek guidance from someone else, and that's understandable that a parent would feel hurt by that. That is not the reality. I would say go into it being sensitive to that, and go into it with just, you know, oh, this is something, you know, people I know have been trying. I'm kind of into it. Would you be okay with that? You know, you're seeking guidance from them.
It's very empathetic of you.
What do you do when you can't afford counseling?
Oh, so in the UK, we have the NHS. So you can go to your GP, explain how you're feeling. They'll probably suggest a few things. They might suggest medication, which may help, courses of therapy, but then also CBT. You should be able to get therapy on the NHS. There is quite a waiting list, but just keep going. I know it takes time, but it will be worth it in the end. Mind. There's a website called Mind. I will put links in the description of websites you can go on and sign up.
In the US, again, school, a lot of churches in the US will have counseling, and some churches it's like only Christian counseling by Christian people, but lots of churches too have like counseling by counselors, and you can go into it and say like, I'm not a Christian, so I'm not looking for Christian counseling, but I'm looking for counseling, and that's free or at a discount. Group therapy. So, AA. I went to a place called Celebrate Recovery for a while, which was a Christian 12-step program where they had lots of different groups, and I went for a group for codependency, and group therapy is usually free. I recommend Googling what's in your
Sounds good.
area.
I want to join.
You should!
Yeah, I think
I'm
I might
sure
find
there's some for depersonalization.
Wow!
We did it. We did it. No, again.
We did it.
No! We did it.
Yes. Be sure to check out the links in the description. And Tessa! Tessa
And me.
is always talking about feelings and things she's learned.
It's my favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye!
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good